So as you heard from Arni, we're very privileged to have with us the Prime Minister of Finland. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And see, without even saying anything, you already got applause. Wow, this is pretty good. So you must be very popular. So let me give his background very briefly. The Prime Minister is from northern Finland, and he went to school there at Oulu University.
That's right.
And got a bachelor's and a master's degree in telecommunications engineering, and spent some years in the telecommunications world, built a number of companies, sold a number of companies. In fact, 1 year, maybe 20 years ago, his income, which is now reported in Finland, you have to report your income, his income publicly was the highest in the entire country. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but it was 20 years ago.
20 years ago, okay, all right. So after a big success in the business world, he decided to get into government or politics, whatever you want to call it. And he ran for parliament and was elected. He also became the head of the Center Party and became the Speaker of the Parliament. And then in May 29th of 2015, became the Prime Minister. So very impressive. He has 4 of his children are living, and he has 6 grandchildren.
Yeah, that's right also.
And he is a pilot, and he's also a woodmaker. So
what else?
Well, I'm going to get into that. So let's start. In recent surveys, it's turned out that of the, let's say, 200 countries on the face of the earth, the one with where the people are the happiest is said to be is Finland. So why are people in Finland so happy?
Yeah, that's true. We are the happiest country in the world, but we are the best nation to hide it also.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that's true.
So you don't, and people don't go around smiling all the time, or
yeah. But of course we have a great nature. We have very clean environment, the cleanest air in the world, and so on. Maybe that's the reason we are so happy.
I thought you would say it's because the Prime Minister is so good. You didn't want to say that?
Yeah. Maybe here in the States I can say it, but in Finland it's
you can't say that. Okay. So recently Finland was in the international news for something. The President of the United States recently met with the President of Finland, and I guess it was the commemoration of the World War I celebration. And there President Trump said that he was told by the President of Finland that you don't have forest fires because you do a lot of raking. Is that true, or what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, first of all, our condolences for the victims of the forest fires. This is partly true. We are thinning our forest time to time, and it's a carefully planned process, and to get the maximum out of our forest. So we are thinning it every 10 years, and that's a reason. But there's a lot of other reasons also, because we are evaluating our forest by drones and making it files to it, and we will plan so that there is no people's residencies close to the forest areas. So we cut the trees, and also as a pilot I can say that there is a very unique system in Finland. Private pilots are forced to if they notice that there is a smoke somewhere, you have to go and look out if there is a small beginning of the forest fire, and report it to the air traffic controller.
So 70% or more of your country is covered in trees, is that right? You have a lot of trees.
That's true.
So you are planting trees yourself, is that right?
Yes, next summer I will plant 400,000 trees.
Now, the reason you're doing that is you have committed to have you and your family are going to have a carbon neutral policy for your family.
Yeah.
So to do that, I guess if you're flying in a private plane or whatever you're doing, you have a lot of carbon there. So you're going to negate that by planting 400,000 trees?
No. It's the whole parliament can have a carbon sink by my plans.
Oh, the whole parliament is?
The whole parliament, yes. But for private family, like mine, we need about 5,000 trees to compensate our carbon.
How do you plant the trees? You go out and actually do it yourself, or do you have other people help you?
Maybe 400,000 is too much for one people, but one person. But I will participate it anyway. It's fun.
So you
to have a hot summer and mosquitoes over you, and at the same time planting trees.
So you don't have forest fires as much as we have, let's say, in California, because you have a different policy. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
So let's talk about the Brexit meeting. You were just at the EU meeting.
Yes.
And the EU approved the proposed agreement between Great Britain and the EU, and you presumably voted for it because it was unanimous. So what happens if the Great Britain's Parliament does not approve it? Then what's going to happen?
First of all, this is a lose-lose situation for both UK and European Union. If they vote against the agreement we have done together, this is the best possible we can do. Maybe there is an option then, but we don't speculate about what happened after the voting. I think that this is the best deal they can have, or we can have, and they will vote on fair.
But suppose they come back and say, well, we need this or we need that, we need to change it. What would the EU do?
If they decided to have a second referendum and decided to stay, of course, this is what we want. Anyone in EU wants UK to leave, but that's the decision.
So the EU agreed to this agreement, but if the Parliament said we're going to have a second referendum, the EU would be happy with that, I assume.
Yeah, but it's not
going to happen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and what happens if the Parliament votes this down and there is no second referendum? Then what happens?
Then there will be a hard Brexit or exit from the Union, and that's the situation we don't like, because we don't have rules how to do it.
Well, 100 years ago or so, when they had these problems, they actually went to military conflict. You don't see that happening, right?
Yeah, no. We are friends.
Right, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, next year, Finland becomes the head of the EU under its rotation policy. You're going to be the presiding officer of the EU?
Yes, if I'm a prime minister after our elections in April.
Oh.
But of course I will. But anyway, there is possibility that I am not.
Okay. Well, assume you are. What would you want to do with the EU that hasn't been done? What direction would you want to take it in?
Of course, this Brexit issue or this new relationship with UK is on our table. We have a budget period of 7 years on our table. There is also parliamentary elections for the European Union, and so it will be very challenging chairmanship for Finland.
Now, Great Britain wants to pull out, or at least some people in Great Britain want to pull out of the EU because they think the EU bureaucracy is so large and all-encompassing and telling them what to do. You're part of the EU. Are you upset with the bureaucracy?
No. Of course, in some small details, maybe they are too active, or we are too active as a European Union. But to have the biggest single market in the world, we have 500 million people in the same economical area, and as a country of 5.5 million people, this is something really we need and want to keep. Now,
earlier, I guess it was yesterday, there was a skirmish between Russian ships and the Ukrainian ships, and I guess the Russian ships have taken over some people from the Ukrainian Navy.
That's true.
So Russia's right on your border. So what is your comment on this? Where
you have a common border also, I think.
We do.
Yeah.
You can see Russia from actually part of the United States.
Yeah, we have a long border, and we have used to work with the Russians. I think that there is a image that we are afraid of Russians in Finland and in the European. We are not. We have used to live with the Russians as a neighbor, and we are behind all the sanctions and all the policy we have agreed together with the European Union, with you. But at the same time, we have had very good dialogue at the crisis also.
Right, so you support the sanctions that the EU has imposed on
Yes,
the... Okay.
yes.
And you're not a member of NATO. You're a member of EU, but not a member of NATO. Why are you not a member of NATO?
Yeah, this has been our solution, and also Sweden in our neighbor. We are cooperating with NATO very closely. We have defense cooperation with Sweden, and you have to remember that we are politically a part of the European Union, so we are not a neutral country anymore.
All right, but President Trump said that the EU members should spend roughly 2% of their GDP on defense. Do you do that?
Yes, yes, we do. If you count the big investments, we are ahead of us.
And your biggest concern is an invasion from Russia. What is your biggest concern? Why do you need that much money to be spent on defense?
I think that we have new threats on the earth, cyber attacks and hybrid attacks in our networks, and terrorism, and I think that these kind of things are more dangerous at the moment.
Now, 30% of your country is above the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
And that's also, some people call part of that Lapland. Mm-hmm. And that is said to be where Santa Claus lives. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. And that is true, yeah. If you ask Swedish Prime Minister, he can tell the other story, but mine is the only truth.
Okay, so Santa Claus does live there?
Yeah, I have seen him.
You have?
Yeah.
What's he look like?
Yeah, with a white bear and, yeah.
So,
in Korvatunturi, that's the place he lives.
So when you're up in the Arctic as much as you are, is global warming a plus or a minus? A plus because the shipping lanes will be open, you can ship your products out through sea, or minus because it's really changing everything in your country?
Yes, of course there are plus and minuses, but I think that the climate change is disaster for all of us, and we have to fight against the climate change together.
All right, so what is Finland doing about climate change?
We have a Paris Agreement, we have agreed the actions, we are fully behind the actions. We need to do three things. First, private consumptions, we have to change our behavior. Secondly, we need to increase these carbon sinks, to plant new trees. And the third thing is new technology. We can do a lot by new technology, by capturing CO2 from the air and converting CO2 to other products, and this will be a very important part of the business in the future.
Okay. And do you think the EU is happy that this administration has taken us out of the Paris Climate Accord, or not?
No, we are not happy at all. Yeah.
All right, so what do you think you can do about that?
I think that we can do more in European Union, and show some example how to do it. And I know that also in the States, the states in United States are doing much more than the global images.
All right, so let's talk about your own background for a moment. As I mentioned, you come from northern Finland. Finland has 5.5 million people.
Yes.
How many?
Including me.
Including you, okay. And how many people were in the city you grew up in?
There's 200,000 people. In the city, I went my primary school. There was 7,000 people.
Okay. 7,000.
Small village, yes.
Okay, so the official language of the country is
Finnish and Swedish.
And Swedish. You have two. Now, why do you have Swedish?
We have about 5% Swedish people speaking people in Finland.
But you were part of Sweden at one point.
Yeah, that's our history. We were a part of Sweden and then part of Soviet Union and Russia.
What was better?
Sweden.
Sweden. Okay. So today, what percentage of people speak English?
Almost all of them.
Okay.
All of us. Because at the age of 9, we start to learn English. And
all right. So you went to school and you became an engineer. And
yes.
after you graduated, did you work for anybody else, or you just started your own company?
I worked 2 years to Nokia, and after that I founded my own company.
Okay, and speaking of Nokia, Nokia was the dominant cellular telephone manufacturer in the world at one point. Then it kind of went south as the smartphones came along. So has its problems hurt your country's economy?
Yes, Nokia is now one of the leading companies in building networks, mobile networks.
Right.
But I think that this change in our economy and industry was positive for us, because now, for example, in my hometown, Nokia was very important at my student time in Oulu. But now there is hundreds of small companies compensating what Nokia employed.
Okay, so back to your own career. So what did you actually do that made you the highest income person in the country 20 years ago?
We made the world's best radio frequency filters for the mobile networks and mobile phones.
And you sold the company? Or?
Yes, I sold the company. It was, we doubled our revenue 7 years in a row. So
okay.
It was quite
So what propelled you to get out of this world where you were doing so well and get into the political world?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe it was my biggest mistake.
And where do you find the egos are bigger, in the business world or the political world?
Business world, absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
The political world, they're not as big?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
we are humble in the politics.
So
we have to be humble.
So you got elected to the parliament. The first time you ran for the parliament, you got elected?
Yes.
And you had to go out and knock on doors, and how did you do that?
I built a wood gas car by myself. And with this wood gas car, I travel all over my area, and I visited a lot of people. I had a very hard campaign.
But you were one of the wealthiest people in the country, so they must have known you.
No, they didn't.
People didn't know you?
No.
Okay, so you got elected.
Yeah.
And then how did you become so quickly the head of your party? Only like a year or two after you got into politics, you became the head of the party.
We lost the elections, and the party leader decided to leave her position, and after that it was an open
right, and then you became the Speaker of the Parliament, right?
The Speaker of the Parliament is duty for the biggest party, and it was only 6 weeks before I came to the Prime Minister. Okay,
so what was the biggest surprise in being Prime Minister that you did not anticipate?
Publicity, media,
slow
decision-making processes.
Okay,
nothing else.
How many seats are there in the Parliament?
200.
And therefore, how many seats do you control?
49.
49. So you're controlling majority through other parties. Is that right?
Yes, we have a coalition of 3 parties.
Okay, so do you get a house if you're the Prime Minister? They give you something to live in, or like 10 Downing Street or something?
Yeah, I have a Prime Minister's residence, but this coalition, we have used to coalitions in Finland, and maybe this is our brand also, that we have to make compromises also in the domestic politics.
Let's talk about the economy of Finland. What is the driving force of the economy of Finland today?
Export, it has been our number one.
What do you export?
Forest products. Nokia is one of the biggest metalworks, diesel engines.
And your biggest export partners to whom you export, who are they?
European Union countries. USA is number 4.
Okay, and you have a surplus with the U.S. Everybody does, but you should as well.
Yeah, we do. But at the same time, we have invested a lot. Our companies have invested a lot to the States and employ a lot of people here.
Okay, so when
you were on that.
When you were in the business world, didn't you open a facility here as well?
Yes, I was about 30 years old, and we decided to open facility here in the States, and I traveled 8 states in 7 days and visited 16 cities, and finally we decided our location to Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like Finland.
Okay. Well, Jeff Bezos did the same thing, and he picked Washington, D.C. and New York, but you picked Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah.
So are there big Finnish population there?
Yeah, that's true. Even there is still some villages. I visited them, and there is a sign, Finnish signs, and people are speaking Finnish there.
And one of your tire companies, I understand, is building a tire facility in Tennessee now, $300 million. Yeah. Is that very common for Finnish companies to invest in the United States and build facilities
yes,
here?
I think that this is very common.
And what about in your country? Are a lot of Americans investing in your country, and why should Americans invest here? What's a good reason why Americans should want to invest in your country?
Because of our innovation policy, and we have #1 innovations in artificial intelligence, digitalization. Our gaming industry is very famous.
So what percentage of the population is connected to the internet?
All of them.
Everybody?
All of us.
And do you have, how fast is your internet speed?
I have 100
really?
megas. Yeah.
Okay. And in the economy that you have, let's talk about your taxes. If you're a business person in Finland, what percentage of your income would you be paying in taxes?
40%. From my salary, which is quite low compared to the, no, okay. But anyway, it's about 42%.
Okay,
total.
And you have free health care for everybody? Free schooling?
Yes, school is free, education is free. We have a best education system in the world. That's guaranteed. And our healthcare system is also free for everyone. For example, if I have some problems, I go to the public healthcare.
Well, suppose you're busy and the public healthcare says, I can't see you this week or next week. Come in 3 weeks. What do you do?
Then we have a private sector also, but normally we don't need to wait. And we are changing our healthcare system also, that there is no so long waiting time.
Now, many countries in Europe suffered a bit of a political issue with refugees coming in. How many refugees did you take from the Middle East?
In 2015, we had about 32,000.
32,000. How many are still there?
10,000.
10,000. Are they mostly from Iraq, or?
From Iraq.
And now will they stay permanently and they'll be integrated into society, or?
Yeah, they are slowly integrating to the society. In my company, I had also people from Iraq, and they were very hard working people.
Okay, so today, if I wanted to invest in Finland, suppose I said I have some extra money, I want to invest in Finland, where should I invest it? What industry or what sector would you recommend?
I have a lot of proposal for you.
Okay.
I can do it privately. But,
okay.
But I think that this new technology, digitalization, this is the most fast-growing areas. But our metal industry is very strong. Forest industry is changing to bioproducts. We can make plastics. We can make biofuels out of wood. Also textiles out of wood today in Finland.
Now,
what else?
Okay, well, those are pretty good. Suppose I say I've never been to, I've actually been to Finland many times, but suppose I say I've never been there and I want to go see some tourist attractions. What do you actually have that I would want to go see?
There is we have about 200,000 lakes in Finland. So the lakes are very beautiful, and it's all over the Finland. Okay. But of course, I am from the north. My recommendation is to visit Lapland and see Santa Claus.
Really? Wow. Okay. All right. That's pretty attractive. Is he there in the summer as well, or?
Yes. Yes. He is always available.
Okay.
Waiting for you.
Okay. I'll be there soon, no doubt. So today, the tariffs that the Trump administration has talked about imposing on some of our trading partners, is that a concern for you?
Yes, yes, it is, and especially the trade issues between European Union and USA. I think that we are friends in many ways, And this is something we should discuss and change. And I think that things are on a better track at the moment. But this worries us a lot.
So Finland has been close to the United States in a number of areas. One of them was after 9/11. I think you were very helpful in providing some military troops to Afghanistan and other places. Is that true?
Yes, and we have been also in UN operations in Lebanon, in many countries.
And how large is the Finnish military? How big? How many people do you have? Soldiers.
All of us, including me, we have about one year. All the males has to go to the army. Yeah.
Okay, so young people growing up in Finland, do they say that it's a small country, there's greater prospects elsewhere? Are they leaving, or are they staying in Finland?
They are staying in Finland mostly, but more and more young people are visiting some other countries, working there and coming back to Finland.
So do you have a lot of Americans moving to Finland, or people from other countries moving there, or not that much immigration from places like this?
Also from US, people are visiting Finland, studying in Finland, and maybe founding a company in Finland. There is a lot of US-based people.
So now, as I mentioned earlier, you're a pilot.
Yeah.
So like when you flew over here, did you fly the plane or no?
Yeah, I can fly. Do you need pilots?
Always use good pilots, but you can fly, any kind of jets and propeller planes and everything.
Yes, I mostly do the smallest planes and helicopters, but also small jets.
But like when you're the prime minister, is it considered safe to be flying helicopters around? Because it might not be that safe.
Yeah, there has been a discussion in Finland about that, but I have flight also my work trips.
Okay, so now you have children who are in the business world. Are they entrepreneurs like you?
Yes, they are, all of them.
And so are they building their own companies? You're off your payroll, so forth?
No, they are independent.
Okay, so
yeah, it has been very important for them to show that they can take care of the.
So when you are finished in politics, let's suppose you win the re-election, or but eventually you might retire.
After that, yes.
So would you consider ever running for president of Finland?
No.
Why?
Because I like this. This is more action. This prime minister's job. I have to do all the dirty things.
And you tell that to the president?
And I like that.
Do you tell the president that you have to do the hard work, or he doesn't? He knows that.
Yeah, it's the domestic policy is under prime minister, and European policy is under prime minister, and in foreign policy we are cooperating together.
So when you finish being in politics and government, would you consider going back into the entrepreneurial world or technology? That's what you think you'll do? And
maybe it's Juha Sipilä's airliner will be the next one. Who knows? Prime Minister's flights, Arctic flights.
Right. So what would you like most Americans, I assume, have not been to Finland. I think it's fair to say 330 million Americans, probably most have not been there. So what would you like most Americans to know about Finland that you think they don't know, other than Santa Claus is there?
Yeah, Santa Claus is very important, and ice hockey is very important also. But we have very clean air, the cleanest in the world. We have cleanest food in the world, and we have the happiest people in the world.
Okay, that's pretty good. And if you're an unhappy person and you live in Finland for a while, do you become happy? I guess so.
Yeah, you can do it also. The happiest people in the world, if you listen to opposition in the parliament, I think that you never know that this is the happiest country in the world.
Really?
But every Thursday we have a questioning hour in our parliament, and after that you are so tired and so unhappy,
Really?
But you are recovering over the weekend and next
Well, do they
weekend.
have like prime ministers' questions like they do in the British Parliament that people can ask you?
Yes, every week one.
And is that you have to prepare for that, or you know the answers pretty well without?
I
preparing?
don't know the answers.
So you
Answers
prepare.
or questions? I don't know the questions.
Okay, so
I know the answers, of course, but
what
not
is
the
the thing with saunas in your country? You have like 5.5 million people, but you got like 4 million saunas.
Yeah. Everyone goes to the sauna. All the Finns are using saunas.
Why is it so? What is it healthy for you?
It's a healthy one. It's good for the blood pressure and everything. In the Prime Minister's residence, there is a very famous sauna also. It's built by President Kekkonen in 1952 when we had Olympic Games in Finland. You are welcome to visit my sauna.
Well,
All the hard decisions are made in
Really?
sauna. Yeah. If I have some issues with the labor market or
really, you put them in the
unions,
sauna?
I invite them to the sauna.
One time I was interviewing John Major, and he told me that I guess when he went to Russia, Boris Yeltsin insisted that he go into the sauna with him, and they put in Helmut Kohl as well. And he said, one thing you don't want to see in this world is Boris Yeltsin, Helmut Kohl in a sauna together. But okay, another issue.
I have done it with the Estonian Prime Minister and Swedish Prime Minister and Russian Prime Minister.
Okay, but the saunas there are not co-ed. They are in some parts of Europe, but not in Finland, right?
In Finland, yeah.
They're co-ed too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, all right. So I thought they were single sex, but they're co-ed in Finland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so, is that a big export for you, saunas?
Yeah, we are exporting a lot of saunas also. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Santa Claus, he uses them too, I guess.
Yes, Santa Claus is using it too, and this is the explanation for the high age of the Santa Claus.
Okay.
And I have also ice swimming possibilities in my residence in Helsinki. There is a hole in the ice, and you go swimming. This is
Isn't that kind of cold, or?
It's quite cold, yeah. But
safe?
you can save also, and if you do it fast. But it's guaranteed always that.
So when you go you cut the hole in the ice.
Yes.
You go into the cold water, and then you go back into the sauna.
Yeah,
back and forth.
Yeah, quite
and
fast.
This is healthy.
This is healthy. Yeah.
Okay. It's safe.
Yeah.
I mean, people.
Next time you are in Finland, you can.
I might be coming soon.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Now you have 3 issues: Santa Claus, sauna, and ice swimming.
I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
So now you're going to see some members of Congress, I assume, while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your main issue to talk to them about?
We will discuss about trade policy, about European Union, and I'm sure always when Finnish Prime Minister is visiting, we discuss about Russia.
Okay. And do you invite members of Congress to come? And many members of Congress come to visit Finland?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and I should say our ambassador, Bob Pence, is right here. Bob is a very prominent businessman in Washington, and he's our ambassador, and I assume he's doing a great job, right?
Yes, he absolutely. Best possible.
All right,
ambassador.
great.
Yeah.
So let's conclude with a couple final questions. So today, as you look at the global economy, are you worried about a slowdown in the global economy, and could it affect Finland in some ways?
Yes, I am, and of course the trade policy is in the middle of this discussion. I am the defender of the free trade. It's very important.
So I guess one of your messages to people here would be that we should continue free trade policies.
Yes.
Okay, and do you see any evidence of a recession yet in Europe or in the in Finland? Do you see any signs of a recession coming or not yet?
Not yet, but there is a lot of worries in the air.
And today, do you do a lot of trade in Finland with Russia?
Yes, actually it was number 1 or number 2 in our trade 10 years ago. But after the sanctions and the development in the Russian, it's now number 5.
But are there a lot of Russians who come to Finland for tourism, or you Finns
they
go
are
to
visiting.
Russia for tourism?
Yeah, there is visitors coming from the Russia. It's about 90,000 a year.
And your border with Russia, is it policed or is it just an unguarded border?
It's guarded border. It's about 1,300 kilometers.
I see. So, but make sure I understand. Your country was part of Sweden many, many years ago.
Quite many years, yes.
And then
years ago.
Sweden kind of gave you away, or they didn't want you anymore, and they became separate, right? And so then, but you were never conquered by the Nazis in World War II, is that right?
Yeah.
You were never conquered by them.
Yeah, but we had a war against the Nazis in the end of the war in 40.
And the Russians, they never actually, did the Russians own you for a while? But that was a long time ago?
Yeah, 100 years ago.
100 years ago. But your country's been independent since what year?
1917.
1917, after World War I?
Yes.
And before that, you were part of Sweden?
Part of Russia.
Part of Russia?
Yeah.
Okay, and part of Sweden much before that?
Yes.
So, you know, Mr. Nobel, when he handed out the Nobel Prizes, he said Sweden would give them out, but Norway would get to give out the Peace Prize. How come Finland didn't get to give out anything?
I think that we were part of Sweden or Russia.
Sweden, so he didn't want to give you something separate to give out?
Yeah, but we have got the prizes, and we are very proud of that.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't wait to visit Finland again. I've been there many times, and next time I will get to see you in your sauna, maybe, or something like
welcome.
that. And you'll be still in Prime Minister because you're going to get reelected, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Is there any reason why people shouldn't vote for you? I mean,
no, there is no reason.
No reason. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for a good conversation.